Armah TV, bringing good things to life.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on today's news bulletin. This is the AM News coming to you live from our studios at the John Evans Fifth High Street in Accra. We're also streaming live on Facebook at Armah TV Ghana, on YouTube at Armah TV GH, and around the world at armahnewsonline.com. My name is Jonathan Armah. Now coming up in this bulletin, following the Heritage Month, Jamestown Lighthouse will look at that in focus, where the fountain and gravestone. We'll give you details of that, including new development on the Apiati explosion, as investigative committee has presented a report in coming weeks. We bring the details of that. In the world of business, price of liquefied petroleum gas has also gone up by 5%. Details to that and more right on the news bulletin. Do stay. Thanks for staying with us. Remember, this is your hub of comprehensive and compendous news. This is the Heritage Month, where we experience Ghana, we wear Ghana, we eat Ghana, we do everything Ghana in order to be citizens and not spectators. Now to our very first story. In March, we learn, explore, eat, drink, and wear anything Ghana. You might know the iconic Jamestown Lighthouse, however, 3 meters away from an edifice dotted along the highway street, which have seen but have not no knowledge of. Here is a story behind the first water fountain and gravestone.
If you use the high streets regularly, I'm sure you might have come across where I am sitting. I'm sure you might have noticed where I am sitting. I am sitting close to the lighthouse here in Jamestown, and also on a water fountain that was put together by the then governor of the Gold Coast in 1910. But what is the history behind it? Let's go into the community and ask if the residents even know the reason why this was put together, or they even have a knowledge about it. "20 steps away from the stone fountain for water is this edifice. I'm sure you have less knowledge about it." Slave master. He's a soldier man, a Ghanaian soldier man.
Yeah, no, I'm free. I'm a 2 months here. No, I'm a try. Now I'm born. I'm trying only good enough for enough.
I can't know me no
good can be our pull of me.
This was a grave by one of the slave masters. But let's know what is written here. I seem not to get the exact thing, but it was put together in 1922. I'm sure this will be the name for the slave master. Contractor. It has very least information, but to the best of my knowledge, this is a grave of one slave master. Okay. That over there, no meaning.
No kunima nijo mi nijo school ni ba ni ge abako ajo ma tabako ba ni
ile kenje mo na kaini ile akeshi fountain, water fountain ni Accra fe.
Nujo school ni afi no guamano ni jigo blanche.
But it seems most of them do not know what is being used for and why it was here. The inscription reads that this stone forming the foundation of a drinking water fountain to commemorate the inauguration of the construction of the Accra Water Works. It was laid by His Excellency Sir John, Governor of the Gold Coast in 1910. As we celebrate the Ghana Month on Adwa Television, I took the opportunity to know the history behind it and to also educate you, in case you don't know, that this water fountain was way back put together in 1910 by the then Gold Coast Governor. As we celebrate the Ghana Month, I take the opportunity to educate you, in case you don't know but might have seen this structure from years back. For Adwa News, my name is Nanyama Collison, Jamestown, Accra.
There you have it. That was a report by my colleague Nanyama Collison there. But away from that, let's look at some new development happening as a result of the Apiati explosion. Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Samuel Abujanapo, who was on the floor of Parliament to answer some questions by members of the August House, held a press briefing to highlight some specific matters of his presentation. Topical among his presentation was the Apiati Investigative Committee. Addressing the press, the minister says the committee, which is headed by Professor Richard Amankwa, is looking at the whole health and safety of the mining sector and also to make recommendations. He added that the committee's report will be ready in the next few weeks and the ministry will carefully implement the report recommendations.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, members of the press, let me first of all thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak to the matters which took place on the floor of Parliament today. A range of questions were posed to me as the Minister responsible for lands and natural resources. And in accord with the highest standards of transparency and indeed in accordance with the principles of democratic accountability, we appeared before the House and did answer all the questions. Indeed, a question was posed about the Apiati incident and what were the recommendations and findings of the committee and whether or not we will publish the report of the investigative committee. And in our response, we provided to the House the 6 fundamental infractions of LI 2177 by the company at the center of this incident, Maxam Company Limited. And indeed, we'll furnish you with all the 6 infractions. And this is really out of the abundance of transparency. We provided it to the House and also indicated to the House the recommendations which were made. And the most fundamental of the recommendations was that we set up a committee to review the entire health and safety regime of the mining sector in our country. And as many of you are aware, on my authority as the minister responsible for the sector and pursuant to Section 101 of the Minerals and Mining Act 206 Act 703, I've since established a ministerial committee of inquiry under the chairmanship of Professor Richard Amankwa, the distinguished academic and intellectual of the Grant University of Science of Mining in Mines and Technology. And they are to look at the whole health and safety regime of the mining sector, make recommendations to the government as they relate to legislative, policy and other reforms they deem fit. So that work is ongoing, and in the coming weeks, the committee will be presenting its report to us, and we definitely will implement the recommendations of the committee.
Was Ghana's Land and Natural Resource Minister Samuel there. Well, away from that, let's move to the Otukwejo market saga. In Sawam Adwajiri, Member of Parliament Frank Armah Dompre has demanded that the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, immediately apologizes to him, government and the Municipal Assembly for an inaccurate report on a market that was supposed to be built at Otukwejo in the municipality. According to the PIAC report, no market has been constructed at Otukwejo, though an amount of 920,354 Ghana cedis has been paid for the project. Speaking to the Parliamentary Press Corps on the issue, the Majority Chief Whip said he suggested 3 places, namely Nsumia, Nsawam and Otukwejo, to the Special Development Initiatives Ministry for the construction of the market. However, the construction of Otukwejo could not materialize because of issues with the site. He stressed the people of Nsawam Adwajiri are very diligent people and will never condone corruption.
It's all about a PIAC report which I have shared with you, and I need to set the record straight. So let me begin by giving you a bit of a background. I recall about 2 years back, I engaged the Special Development Authority on the need for a market shed to be constructed in my constituency. So originally, I had suggested 3 venues, and these 3 were the Insumia, a suburb in Nsawam Adwajiri, the Nsawam Township itself, and Otukwejo. These were the 3 original places I suggested to the Special Development Authority. Okay, so you know MPs don't award contracts. Eventually we'll have to go through the assembly and the procurement processes would have to be dispensed of before it is awarded. There was a challenge. It was communicated to me, I must be fair to them. There was a challenge with places like Insumia in terms of site, and then Otukwejo. Then we were only able to confirm for Nsawam. So to some extent I had forgotten about this market for the other 2 places that was originally suggested, only for me to see this news item making the rounds from, I think, PIAC, a report from PIAC, and it's been shared extensively. What they are basically saying is that, okay, so we said we were going to construct a market at Otukwejo. They did not even mention Insumia, and we failed to construct it, and yet monies have been paid. I think this is the trust of the concern, and that's where I want to focus my address. So I checked. I took time to check certificates that were raised. The raised certificates for 2 sheds that were constructed at Nsawam is specifically opposite PW. Anybody who knows Nsawam, opposite the PWD, it is supposed to be a fitting shop. Even though we had a difficulty relocating the mechanics there. So 2 sheds has been constructed. Each of the sheds has 24 cubicles. So we have 48 cubicles constructed. And I'm told a certificate was raised and some 623,000 has been paid for work done. So 48 market cubicles were constructed, 2 sheds comprising of 48 cubicles, a water system, and a storage facility. So don't worry about all these details. Bottom line is that Otukwejo never benefited from a market shed, obviously because we could not agree on a venue for the market. So the PIAC report is quite mischievous, and I don't know why they would not do their cross-checking before they come on the public. So I demand of the PIAC, they should come out and do the correction and render an unqualified apology for the pain they've caused the assembly. We are very diligent. In Nsawam Adwajiri assembly staff, they are very diligent, and they will not condone with any act of corruption or abet any act to engage any hand dealings as a way of siphoning.
The Member of Parliament for Nsawam Adwajiri, the Frank Anodompre, who is demanding an apology from the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. Well, if you just joined in, you're still watching the AM News live from our studios at the John Evans Fifieta Mills High Street in Accra. We also stream live on Facebook at Edward TV Ghana, on YouTube at Edward TV GH, around the world at edwardnewsonline.com. You can grab our stories on our website. Well, to some business update. Liquefied petroleum gas LPG price has experienced a 5% adjustment from yesterday, March 3, 2022. This follows the restoration of the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy (PSRL) on fuel product. Experts have warned the restored PSRL and its attendant increase in the price of liquefied petroleum gas will further decrease the commodity's consumption rate and worsen the plight of the ordinary consumer.
Liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) prices has experienced a 5% adjustment on March 3, 2022. This follows the restoration of the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy on fuel products. Experts have warned that the restoration of the Price Stabilization and Recovery Levy and its attendant increase in the price of LPG will further decrease the commodity's consumption rate and worsen the plight of the ordinary consumer. The LPG Marketers Association says a rapid change in prices is affecting their business due to the decline in consumption rate of LPG. Government has set an agenda to make the product accessible to many by increasing the consumption of the commodity from 25% to 50% by 2030. But many have argued that this objective may not be achievable considering the speed with which the commodity price is skyrocketing. Meanwhile, the National Petroleum Authority has said it is discussing with the Finance and Energy Ministries to find a manageable solution to the persistent rise in fuel prices.
There you have it, but in some more business updates, the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, says discussions are ongoing with the Ministry of Finance and Energy to find a manageable solution for the persistent rise in fuel prices. It said the deliberations will focus largely on the possible removal of some taxes on petroleum products. But head of the pricing of the National Petroleum Authority, Ibrahim Tasunti, maintains that the situation can be blamed largely on current happenings on the global oil economy. Thus, the government will play a role in cushioning citizens.
The National Petroleum Authority says discussions are ongoing with the Ministries of Finance and Energy to find a manageable solution to the persistent rise in fuel prices. It said the deliberations will focus largely on the possible removal of some taxes on petroleum products. But the head of pricing at NPA, Ibrahim Abbas Tasunti, maintains that the situation can be blamed largely on the current happenings on the global oil economy. Thus, government will play a very critical role in cushioning its citizens. Fuel prices at some fuel stations have crossed the 8 Ghana cedi per litre mark in the first week of March 2022, with predictions that the commodity will sell at 9 Ghana cedis per litre by the close of the month. Meanwhile, the Institute for Energy Security is also predicting a 4% increase in the prices of liquefied petroleum gas, diesel and petrol at the pumps in the first pricing window of March. A barrel of burnt crude oil, which was going for about 66 United States dollars a year ago and 78 United States dollars at the start of 2022, jumped 7.3% to 103.9 United States dollars a barrel in February 2022.
More business news update on our website on edwardnewsonline.com/business. Now, in the world of sport, officials of Kumasi Asante Kotoko have presented their new bars to the life patron of the club, Asantehene Otumfuo Nana Osei II, at a short ceremony held at the Menchia Palace. The Asantehene overtook an inspection of the colorful bars before giving his blessings to the team. Following the blessings of the live patron, the bars is ready for the Accra journey as the Porcupine Warriors renew their rivalry in Friday's clash with arch-rivals Accra Heart of Oak at the Accra Sports Stadium. The new bus, which is a 36-seater manufactured by Volvo, and it is a 2021 edition of B8R Marco Polo, which has already been licensed with registration number GE702022 and which will later be customized to Fab 1. Kotoko managed to seal a deal with Access Bank to get the fabulous bus. Kotoko's Volvo bus is estimated to be within the region of $25,000 to $30,000. The bus comes with 34 passenger seats with an additional one for the driver and a spare one, fully air conditioned and comes along with 4 TV screens. The fabulous bus is 3D customized with the club's logo Porcupine and designed with spikes. Speaking at the presentation, Chief Executive Officer of Asante Kotoko, Nanayao Amponsa, thanked the fans for their support and called on the fans worldwide to pre-register for their membership cards from Access Bank. He thanked the bank for their partnership and looked forward to fruitful years ahead.
Vice Chairman and Armah Yada will be a good management. Will be a say, Tembia Yaka. Because you buy and can support a Basisha block on back, 9 years, Monday Foundation. Yes, Shisha blocks. The bedroom baby, mobile roof is so a blast that may be a finish. See, a corner, sure, say, in a few years to come, we'll find into my plan. Already we are seeing that, and we believe sir the course in our kaboom unity is strength in our kaboom. The better board on Swasi, very, very important. Better board, the board members support of the management dying in our direction, with my policy direction. We can't thank them enough. Any trust come reposing in management. So young team now you see I'm say on and off the pitch we are getting results. Now we'll continue to call on the supporters. Some why because Sena Medical can now or Yipano. Supporters in the collateral. The bank, the core sponsors so the Jessica. The sponsors need to see the collateral, and the only way we move collateral no numbers at the stadium because NCB Access Bank for the Babaji Jessica Stadium. I'm a banana pama. If you go my bem, I'm on course MY. Mekoswa the supporters and from support. I encourage you say, my own supporting the stadium. Challenge you NCBA no launch a project to increase the numbers at the stadium. I'm forcing making sure say I'm supporting project.
Accra Heart of Oak and Kumasi Asante Kotoko will square off again in Accra for the 2022 President's Cup set to go down on Friday, March 4, 2022. The two most glamorous clubs in the country will face off again at the Accra Sports Stadium after their clash in the first round of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League, which ended in a pulsating scoreless draw. Ghana's President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will grace the occasion and will kickstart the game with the ceremonial kick-off and also honor the teams after the game with medals. The President's Cup is an annual ceremonial match organized by the Ghana League Clubs Association, GALCA, to be played in honor of the first gentleman of the West African nation. Kumasi Asante Kotoko won the last edition played in 2019 after defeating their bitterest rivals, Accra Heart of Oak, to a 2-1 at the Accra Sports Stadium. The Porcupine Warriors have won the title on 6 occasions, 2 titles more than Accra Heart of Oak. The 2020 and 2021 editions of the President Cup was cancelled. There from the Menchia Palace, but would this stop the Phobian boys and beating them in the clash of the President's Cup? We are waiting to see, to give you more as and when development unfolds there. In the world of entertainment and showbiz, Ghanaian musician and record producer Ayo Soundboy has passed on after battling kidney failure for years. The tragic incident occurred in his home on Wednesday, March 2, 2022, as confirmed by his wife Aisha Yusuf. Ayo Soundboy left behind his bereaved wife and 3 children.
The tragic incident occurred in his home on Wednesday, March 2, 2022, as confirmed by his wife Aisha Yusuf. According to her, in the last few days before his death, Ayo wept bitterly in front of his children and asked them to forgive him for his inability to take care of them due to his illness. In July 2021, his wife confirmed in an interview that her husband is in a critical condition and needed 91,807 Ghana cedis for dialysis a year. Prior to this, the producer had been confined to a spot for weeks. Months before his death, he called on Ghanaians to come to his aid with financial support, what would enable him travel abroad for an extensive treatment of his illness. Musician D Black was among the few artists who made an undisclosed donation to the alien producer when he was still alive. The rapper went further to call on Musica, Gumroad, and other music agencies in Ghana to also offer their help. But irrespective of the financial support and treatment he received, death laid its icy hands on the music producer. Ayo Soundboy left behind his bereaved wife, 3 children aged 8, 5, and 1 respectively.
Rather sad news from the entertainment industry. May the soul of our dear producer rest in the bosom of the Lord. Well, on that sad note, this is how far would come to you with the AM News right from our studios at the John Evans Fifth Most High Street in Accra. For more news, do well to log on to our website on adwanewsonline.com. Until then, it is still the Heritage Month. Wear Ghana, eat Ghana, feel Ghana, and be a Ghanaian. Have a good morning.